My brother, in the meantime, he was in Argentina, and he organized a visa, a permission for my dad and mother to go to Argentina, Buenos Aires. When I went to England, after I went to England, I stayed in this little village called Newbury, a sort of a hostel which run by two young Austrian couple.
He was having it off with her, that's why.
Having off with who?
The lady.
Were you having an affair with one of the ladies? With the lady?
Oh, your mother thinks so.
Oh, nonsense! You know perfectly well.
But you were only 13 or 14, weren't you?
14.
I was a bit advanced. And one day, the war just started, and there was a knock at the door, and two policemen stood there and said, I want you to come with us. Only be for a couple of days. I still haven't been back. So they took me to this prison, and I was in a prison cell, feeling very bad. And there was another bloke with me in the cell. His name was Roy Thalheimer. Grandma knows him. He said, "Oh, hello, how are you? I'm a Trotskyist." Now, I didn't know what a Trotskyist was in those days. They took us to this prison, put us on a truck, and carted us off to a place near Liverpool. Big camp there. It was a big camp there called Huyton. And there were hundreds of people like me, Germans and Austrians. And one day, they just collected us all and took us to the wharf. And there was this ship there. It was called the Donera. And we're told to walk on. And there's British soldiers everywhere. One of them was, "Come here, sonny." I said, "Yeah." And he took my watch and put it in his pocket. I'd never seen that watch again. It was my good watch I got for my bar mitzvah, the Jewish bar mitzvah.
How come he took your watch?
Because he was a thief. And they were told we were German parachutists. Still, it saved our lives, because one day they threw everything overboard, suitcases, letters and everything. And the ship sailed out into the Irish Channel, the Irish Sea, and the English Channel. And there was a German submarine. And they shot a torpedo at us. And it hit us. And I was walking on the deck, and I hear this bang. But the captain of the submarine picked up a lot of these letters, and they're all written in German, so he thought he'd better not send any more torpedoes, because there were Germans on the ship. And there were German prisoners of war, seamen, who the English had captured. We were all supposed to go to Canada. We were only let out on deck so we could see once a day for about 20 minutes. And those bloody soldiers, English soldiers, they still thought we were Germans. They threw beer bottles, and they broke, and there was glass everywhere. I stepped around that, and so the only way we could look out was on the toilet. There were sort of big round loopholes. We'd look through there. Well, I got myself a job in the kitchen because I was always hungry, and the only way to get enough food. And there was this little chap. He was in the same mess deck, as they used to call it, and he was always hungry. I talked to him, and he came from Nuremberg, and I had this job in the kitchen. I used to pinch some bread out of the kitchen, give it to him. And that's how I met Ernie, and we've been friends ever since.
From an overseas liner in Sydney Harbour, a strange contingent of new arrivals is transshipped aboard a ferry. Enemy aliens who are being interned in Australia for the duration of the war.
Wearing the same clothes for 6 weeks, we smelled to high heaven. When we got to Fremantle in West Australia, they had to smoke the whole ship out because it smelled so awful. And then it went on to Melbourne, and from Melbourne to Sydney. I remember getting let off the ship in Darling Harbour, and we were put on a train at the station. And as the train chugged out, one guard, remember the guard sitting there with his gun and bayonet? He said to me, "Here, sonny, hold my gun." Now I was supposed to be a dangerous parachutist. Hold my gun. Well, I rolled myself a smoke, and he's rolling the smoke. I thought that was very interesting. He's rolling smoke, and I was holding this gun. I could have shot the whole lot. That's how I said I like this country. The friendly people who went along from Sydney all along the Darling River and the Murray River, kangaroos hopping beside the train to a place called Hay, one of the hottest places in Australia. They used to say Hay, Hell and Bullagul, wasn't it? And then we were unloaded at Hay and led into this camp. There's barbed wire all around and big gate. But being as we were, we decided to make the best of it. And soon people established various schools and talks and lectures. I had another little Austrian friends. I don't know what the Austrians always picked on me as friends. And his name was Walter Hofstetter.
Yeah.
Nice little fellow.
Well, this time you were...
At this time I was in Royal Park.
That's right.
Big army camp there. And he said to me one day, "Look, I've got a date today. Would you like to come along?" I said, "What's the good of me coming to your date?" I said, "Oh, my girlfriend's bringing another girlfriend along. And we're meeting under the clocks at Flinders Street Station." So I said, "Okay, I'll come." Wasn't too happy about it. Because
Norma McKissick. Oh.
you never know who I might meet, you know.
Might catch something.
You might... Oh, you're awful, Grandma. And there we were. We went up to the clocks at Flinders Station. There was my little friend and your grandma. And the first thing she said, opened her big mouth, said, "I'm a journalist." Oh, she was a proofreader on the Guardian, wasn't it?
That's right.
And then we kept on going together.